This video was made, created by me ZS0020 Prime, leader of the Defenders and master of the Skybase. I am also known as ZS Prime, ZS0020 Prime, and Sylveon Prime, and nobody has any permission to use this video without my permission or authorization. This music was made, created by me ZS0020 Prime, leader of the Defenders and master of the Skybase. I am also known as ZS Prime, ZS0020 Prime, and Sylveon Prime. And nobody has any permission to use this music without my permission or authorization.
Okay, hopefully this is recording. Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to, lately people have been asking me, because those who, I explained to that, I have a developmental disability, and some people have asked me, how did I manage to get, a place on my own, because it's not that easy for people with developmental disabilities. Well, to answer this particular question, I'm gonna say for straight up that I didn't do it by myself. First of all, to be able to be on my own required a lot of work and a lot of basically a lot of perseverance, as I would say, and dedication. Because, first of all, back when this was several years ago, even at that time, the economy wasn't that good, so trying to find a place to stay was basically like trying to win the lottery. Also, I had people from, I have a service called ILS, Independent Living Skills. Basically, it's a program from EBI, which is East Bay Innovation. It's a program basically that I'm a part of. The East Bay Innovations part, the job coach parts, they help me with my job to make sure, they come out to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and that I'm, okay with my job and there's no problems going on with my job. The ILS part is where they come to my house and make sure that, in the past, when I used to live with my mom, they would come to my mom's house and they would basically make sure that I'm prepared to be on my own. To make sure that I'm able to learn the basic necessities to be on your own. And also, the program also helped me find this place, because it wasn't easy. I would have never found this place on my own. That's for dang sure. I would have never found this place on my own. So I had help, and a lot of help, and also my mom helped and my dad helped. So I had a lot of help, and also it was for in my particular situation, due to the instability that was going on at my mom's house at the current time. Because let's just say at that current time, me and my mom's husband didn't really get along, so it was for the best that I moved out, because otherwise things would have not ended well. So that's precisely one of the long list of reasons of why I moved out. And also, and also, at the time before I moved out, I was kind of in a shell, you could say. I wasn't as openly opinionated as I am now, and I wasn't as, how do you say it? I don't know how the heck to put it, but let's just say I had a very different mindset, because when I used to live with my mom, I was dealing with mental oppression because of stuff that was going on between me and her husband, stuff that I'm not going to discuss here publicly on YouTube, because it's in the past and it doesn't need to be discussed, and I'd rather not bring up that old memory again. But to go back to the subject that I was talking about, basically it happened very quickly when I found this place. I remember one day I was in my mom's in my room at my mom's house. This was years ago, and I was basically doing my own stuff, and then suddenly I get a call from the ILS people that, yo, they found a place and it's going hot, and this is like the only basically after, and this happened after like many attempts I failed. First the idiots. First, I did get kind of annoyed at the program that was helping me because the idiots first tried to put me in like a group home situation when my mom said, "Hell no, that's not happening," because I mentally wouldn't be able to handle it. And two, there's too many restrictions, way too many restrictions. Like you literally have to do everything according to their schedule, and you can't like it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. And the and I had a few requirements. First and foremost, absolutely no roommates. I've seen enough cases, and I watched enough court shows to know that over half the time roommates don't really work out because you have to deal with other people's personality, and it's just not my cup of tea. I didn't want a roommate because I can barely handle my own self sometimes, and dealing with another person in the environment would be just chaos. And my mental brain just wouldn't be able to handle it, especially way back then. Because way back then I wasn't as wise as I am today. So as I was getting back, so basically, what happened was after many failed attempts, I was kind of giving up hope, and also was a pain in the butt trying to get to work because during that time I was still working at my current job all the way here in Dublin. So I basically had to make my way from San Leandro to all the way to Dublin. Basically, I had a bit of a commute, you could say. I had to get up early so I can make it on time to the BART. And if people don't know what the BART is, it stands for Bay Area Rapid Transit. It's basically similar to a subway, except it can go underground and sometimes above bridges, and sometimes it's in between the highway like that. It's basically the same equivalent to a subway, except I believe BART runs on like has like a third electric rail. I don't know the difference, but it's basically a similar thing. So basically, I had to go on BART, and then I had to make. And then at the time, I was riding my bike because that was before my knees started acting up. So I was able to ride my bike at the time. So I had to get all my stuff together in the morning, and I had to make my get my bike out of the garage. Then I had to ride my bike all the way to the BART station, hop onto the BART train, make the commute all the way to Dublin, and then from there take the bus all the way to work, and then repeat the whole process in reverse going back to work. And trust me, that was an exhausting process and one of the long list of reasons of why I stopped riding my bike. But then one day the ILS people called me and they said, "Hey, we found a place. We found a place that may fit all the way here in Dublin." So me and my mom went to check it out, and we did the whole tour with the previous manager that used to be here. We did the whole tour and everything, and I was pretty satisfied with the place. My dad checked out the place. It was the basically the best that I could. It was the best opportunity, and if people are wondering, this particular the apartment complex is a low income place, but this particular unit is also kind of like a low income slash many things. So basically, at the time, my rent was I think like 200 something, but that was at the time. That was way back then, before my rent skyrocketed. But basically, it was basically after checking the place out, I'm like, okay. And I remember the day when we moved in, we basically tried to do everything. And well, first of all, it was an exhausting process trying to move because, fortunately, my mom van, had a van, and she still has that old van. So I was able to, and also I didn't have to move the whole entire house. I only had to move my small tiny little room that I had in my mom's house. So it wasn't that horrible, but it still was a stressful situation. I basically had to move everything up, set everything up, and then once I got everything set up, I started up my cable services and all the other stuff that I needed, and basically I moved in here, and I was And so far, I'm happy. And to tell the truth, it was the best decision that I made moving by myself. However, it's not as easy to be on your own as one would think. First and foremost, there is no co-signer. I am my name and only my name is on the lease. My mom helps me and she has power of attorney and stuff like that because I'm developmentally disabled, but I'm me and only me is totally responsible for the whole rent situation here. So I have to pay my rent. I also have to pay PG&E, which is basically gas and electricity. And let's see, I also have to pay my cable, and of course my credit card. Because yes, my mom was able to open me. Well, she first opened me a secure credit card, and then they transferred me to a regular one because I was able to prove to them that I can pay it on time. And also, she did that because the other requirement was credit. Yes, even all those years ago, they still did credit checks. There was a credit check I had to go through, a background check I had to go through, a bunch of requisites that you have to basically meet. Basically, a bunch of requirements that you have to meet before you can even begin renting. And the other thing you have to sign is a thing called the lease agreement. And one of the things in the lease agreement is apartment cleanliness. Basically, you have to keep the unit, minus, regular wear and tear, but you have to keep it clean. You have to clean it. You have to, make sure nothing is going wrong. And if there is a problem, like a leak or something like that, you have to, be on top of it and report it to the maintenance people so it can be fixed. And you also have to make sure you pay all your bills on time because that can destroy your credit if you don't do that. And also, living by yourself, you also have to realize that, I've realized this ages ago that, my parents can't just be here at a drop of a hat. So sometimes I have to just put on the big boy pants and do some stuff by myself. And that's the other thing, like, in regards to cooking, my mom still, like, makes me meals that I can warm up in the microwave once a week, but, like, small stuff, like making myself a sandwich, I can do that. I learned how to do that on my own, and I can do it. The only thing I can make on the stove is hot dogs, but I get nervous around the stove because it's a gas stove, and it's a mental thing that I've been working on. But but having your own place is a very big step. It's a big difference than living at your parents' house or living with somebody. Being on your own means you have to basically you have to deal with whatever ups and downs comes with it. You have to pay your bills. You have to pay your rent. You have to. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, and you can't just I learned this a long time ago. You can't just sit in your butt and do nothing. Be pro you have to be proactive and make sure all your bills are paid and all of your and all of your stuff is up to date. And for me personally, I make sure that to keep the place clean because here most apartments they conduct inspections once in a while. Like they'll go into the apartment, they'll give you a note on your door saying, "Hey, we're doing an inspection of your place," and and if your place isn't clean, you won't last long because that's one of the requirements. Is your place has to be clean. If you're a health hazard, you'll be kicked out very quickly. They don't play around nowadays when it comes to apartments because all it takes is one person to create a potential bad situation. So that's why they basically do these inspections. They don't like do it every day, but they do it like I think like annually or something like that. I forgot what the actual schedule is. But in my particular case, I also got and also in order to get help, I got help from the program to sign up for Section 8 because I don't make that much money and I'm developing. Yes, I receive Social Security because of my disability. I have a thing where I can receive it and still work. but Social Security alone will not pay all your bills. That's for dang sure. Especially in this economy nowadays, Social Security alone is not enough. You need to, and I have a job, as people already know. So yeah, that's the other thing is you're gonna if you're living by yourself, you're gonna unless you're in a situation where your parents are paying for the place, which that's not really being on your own. All I have to say is you're gonna have to get a job if you're by yourself, or you're gonna have to, make sure that your job pays you enough to keep you afloat. And the other thing is, and yes, if people are wondering, yes, I was after I think years of trying, I was able to get into Section 8, and it wasn't easy because a lot of the waiting list was like 3 billion miles long, and basically as I believe my mom put it this way, or somebody put it this way, but basically she said I won the lottery when it comes to the Section 8, and I was able to get Section 8. And that's the other thing. If you do get Section 8, they also do inspections of your place. And the requirement is also to keep your place clean, just like the apartment complex requirements. So yeah, they're very big on cleanliness. Like they're not like crazy nitpicky, but you need to make sure that you need to make sure your place isn't cluttered. You need to make sure it's clean. There's no bugs or other nasty creepy crawlies running around. And you need and there's a lot of requirements. It isn't just as simple as, oh, I'm gonna move out and be on my own and everything's gonna be fine now. It requires work to be on your own. It isn't just as simple as, oh, I'm going to be on my own. And I still get like my mom will help if because there's stuff that I can't do because I can't mentally handle certain things. Because with the particular, if people are wondering, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the disability that I have is called ADHD. It's basically like ADD, but with the hyperactiveness thing, and I have a bunch of other crap that I was diagnosed with that I can't even begin to wrap my head around. But if people are wondering, that's the kind of thing that I basically have to deal with my own brain on a day-to-day basis, fighting against me. That's how I can describe it. And also later on, of course, as you all know, I did get my cat Luna. That's the other thing is if you want to have a pet, first of all, you have to make sure you have to clear it with your, apartment manager in the office. For me, I was able to have a pet because Luna, my cat, is actually my emotional support animal. He actually has helped me through difficult times and also through situations like I believe I explained this in one of my videos before. When if I sleep in the wrong position, I literally wake up gasping for breath. I mean, I've had moments where I literally straight up stopped breathing, and I woke up literally like this, literally gasping for air and in a complete panic attack. And my cat Luna immediately jumps on the bed and tries to calm me down. Like this cat has literally saved me multiple times because I remember how much I was struggling with it was to even get back to sleep. I remember that freaking day where before I had Luna, where I woke up and I wasn't able to get back to sleep until like I literally like almost 7 or 8 a.m. Thank goodness I didn't have to go to work that day, but still, it was not a pleasant experience. And also that's another thing I'm gonna talk about is if you do go through all the steps to get a pet or an emotional support pet, you also have to take care of the pet. You have to clean after it. You have to feed it, give it water. Just like it's like taking care. It's some people would say it's like taking care of another child, but it's a pet. You basically have to keep an eye on it also to make sure it doesn't do anything. But that's the other thing is if you do have a place of your own and they allow pets or you're able to get a pet because you require an emotional support animal, it requires first of all, to get the emotional support animal permission, there's some paperwork that you have to sign and stuff like that, and it's it's basically also requires, for you to be on top. You can't just sit back and expect everything. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk about. You can't just sit back and expect everything to be done for you. That's not how it works when you're on your own. When you're on your own, as I've stated multiple times in this video, you have to put on the big boy pants and do stuff, get stuff done. If you want it to be done, and also when you're by yourself, there's nobody here there's nobody there that's gonna serve you. You have to basically serve yourself, as they say. You basically have to, if you're hungry, you have to go to the refrigerator and get food. If there's something that needs to be done, then you need to get up and do it. And that's the other thing, is that the apartment complex, most apartment complexes are not gonna wait hand and foot on you. So you're gonna have to put on the big boy pants and get stuff done. Because I've had people ask me, how the heck were you able to be on your own, and that's because I got fortunate. That's because I managed to have help, and I got fortunate. I didn't do it all on my own. And also, having your own place isn't exactly, easy. It isn't as easy as, things are not going to go like that for you. There's going to be ups and downs. You have to also deal with whatever neighbors you have. Fortunately, my neighbors, for the most part, have left me alone. Just except for that little incident where some fucker was trying to accuse me of. Well, some idiot was trying to accuse me of being naked in my own apartment, which was dumb. Because in this window back here, there's a wall. So unless you're literally standing at the window, trying to look in, you shouldn't be able to see anything. Same thing with that window. But that incident got quashed really quickly, especially once my mom got involved and straight up, showed them evidence that there is no way in heck. First of all, there's no. They also tried to accuse me of pointing a gun-like object at kids, which was stupid. I don't have anything even remotely close to anything like that in my apartment. Heck, I don't even have squirt guns. So I don't even understand where the hell that came from. But my mom got involved in it, and after that, they very quickly shut up and realized that all these statements make no damn sense, and these allegations make no dang sense, and they basically left me alone because they realized that they're not going to get away with falsely accusing me of stuff, especially without a shred of evidence. So for the most part, things have been peaceful. I should say after that incident, things have simmered down and things have been peaceful, and nobody has pestered me for the time being. That is. And that's the other thing about living by yourself, is you have to deal with whatever neighbors you have, and you have to follow the rules of the complex itself. First of all, here we have a rule called quiet time. It starts basically from 9 p.m. to, I believe, like 7 or 8 a.m., something like that. Basically, quiet time means no loud or over excessive noises. In other words, don't disturb your fellow neighbors. So you can't be playing loud music at like 10 p.m. You can't be doing anything like crazy, like vacuuming or something like that. You gotta do that during the day. And also, even during the day, when there's a quiet time, you can't be like overly excessively loud. You gotta be respectful to your fellow neighbors. You can't, be a nuisance, because nobody likes a nuisance. That's the other thing, is you can't be a nuisance to others. You can't like like make excessively loud noises. And the other thing is, you gotta remember that you're renting the place, so you gotta keep. That's the other thing I have to say is you have to keep your temper in check. Like I keep my temper in check. Like if I get mad, I punch the bed or something or something else. But I don't go around punching walls. That's the other thing is you can't go around punching the walls. You can't break stuff in the apartment. You can't damage stuff because all that they'll charge you for if you do that. That's why I don't do that. I first of all, if I get mad, I usually just punch my bed or punch a pillow. One, it's much easier on my own body, and two, I don't. And two, it's much better. And two, I am not. I may have my moments, but I'm not completely insane. I'm not gonna go punch a wall knowing full well that I'm gonna be responsible for fixing that wall. I mean, it's the same reason why I actually called the office when there were a bunch of kids by this window playing with their ball because if they freaking hit the window and break it, it would be on me. That's why. That's why I went. I had to be proactive in that situation. But to boil everything down, being on your own, yes, it's great, but also you have to be responsible. You have to pay your bills, keep the place clean, you know, be respectful to your neighbors, don't be a butthole to your neighbors, don't be a nuisance. That's basic, and also you have to go through a lot of, you have to go through the credit check and background check if you want it, because nowadays every apartment complex does background checks and credit checks. So if you being on your own, first of all you have to meet the requirements, and two you have to maintain the place. You have to keep up with your bills, maintain the place. You can't have stuff all over the floor. You can't have any trip hazards or anything like that. So basically, that's basically about it. You just have to basically you can't just sit around and expect people to wait hand and foot or your oh if I could speak. You can't just sit around and expect people to wait hand and foot on you because that's not going to happen when you're by yourself. And two, you can't expect people to just hand you everything. That's not going to happen too when you're by yourself. So being on your own. So to conclude everything that I'm saying here, being on your own isn't as easy as people would think. It's as the phrase says, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. It may look like it's easy, but it's not. You have to make sure. What do you think? I mean, even till this day, my mom still helps, and my dad still, helps to make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to. And yes, I clean by myself, but to places where I can't reach, or if I don't know, which chemical or cleaner to use to clean, I usually ask my mom or I usually ask my mom since she knows what to use, especially since I of course have a cat, so I have to make sure that I use the right stuff so that way the cat doesn't get hurt in my particular case. But that's the other thing. So basically that's about it. I'm going to say uh basically to sum it all up, being by yourself, yes, it's great, but also it requires responsibility and work. It's not just as simple as you snap your fingers and you're by yourself and everything's hunky dory. That's not how the world works, and that's not how it works. If you want something, you have to work for it. That's how it works. And I've learned that lesson a long time ago. If you want something, you have to work for it. You can't just sit in your butt and expect it to be handed to you on a silver platter. That's not how the world works. If you want something, you gotta work for it. You gotta put in the work. You gotta be responsible. You gotta be accountable. But anywho, that's what I'm gonna say for now. If I need to make any updates, I will. But for now, that's basically that's basically it. That's basically me. This is just basically me answering the question because I've had many people ask me this question, and basically me just explaining that being on your own isn't easy. It may look easy on the surface, but in reality, it is not as easy as people would think. It requires work and it requires effort. But anywho, I'm going to conclude the video for now. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all on my next video, whenever it is and whatever it is. Have a good day and or night, everybody. Bye.